but it looks like 2 people were here, so I figured I might as well hop on. I was getting everything set up. How's everybody doing? Let me know who's here. It's a lot easier. I think I said it last time, but it's a lot easier talking, or you don't feel like you're talking to yourself when you know who's there. So, whoever's here, let me know who you are. But I appreciate everybody popping on and waiting on me. We got something to talk about and celebrate this evening. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit tomorrow on the video that should come up. I haven't actually edited it yet, but it should be up tomorrow morning if everything works out. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise if it works out. But I gotta edit it. And for those of you that have waited for my Sunday lives, I know I usually do a Sunday live. Guys, I got so busy Sunday, and it was after 8 o'clock before I even realized that I hadn't done my live yet. I was getting ready to, get a shower, and I thought, I didn't even do my live. And then I thought, well, maybe I could hurry up and get a shower and then schedule it. And I was like, no, we'll just do it tomorrow. So we're doing it today, and then we got a big milestone, and that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. That is coming up tomorrow, and so once a few more people get on, hopefully we can talk about that big milestone. And like I said, we are going to I'm going to talk a little bit about it on the video tomorrow. But thank you. How are you doing, Daisy Q? I talked to you this morning on one of the videos. What video did I post yesterday? Oh, our drive. We used to drive that way a lot. We tend to take the back roads. It takes, if you go by interstate to the farm from our house, it takes about 15 minutes. The way we usually takes about 35 minutes. The way we took back home the other day is about a 45-minute hour drive back home. Yeah, it's beautiful. Honestly, we were at 40 degrees today, and the snow is still stuck with us. The roads are clearer. The main roads are clearer. But the roads, the back roads, I don't know if it's the same way where you all are at, which I'm going to assume y'all probably don't get snow. But the county just don't mess with our back roads very much. We're out in the boonies, the farm's out in the boonies, and so yeah, today was 40s. But they don't really plow those roads until they get all the main city roads and stuff clear. And so a lot of times the back roads that we take to our farm, even the road that our farm is on, because it's way out in the boonies, I've talked about that before. It is very it's just like one of those small towns that you drive through. And if you don't know where you're at, you would think that you were in the same area. Like, it's such a small town. The only thing that makes it a town is the fact that we have a little tiny one-room post office. And that's where our farm is at. And the only other business that is there that I can think of right off the top in the town that the farm is at is it's a dog groomer's office. But that's it. And so it's a really, really small, tiny place. And so they don't care whether we can use our roads or not. We are the last group of people on their mind when it comes to having the roads clear. But That's okay. The main roads, like I said, are melted off, and but the back roads are still packed and solid sheets of ice. We had to watch our steps today here at the farm, or there at the farm. I started walking around the barn and stuff, and where we've packed it down. Yeah. At least it don't happen too often. But I about busted my hiney a few times, getting ready to fall on that pack ice. Actually, Daisy Q, we are supposed to get back up to the 60s. I think this coming week, with about 3 inches of rain. That's coming for us, along with all the snow that we've had, and so they're predicting flash floods, and quite a bit of flooding going on. So that's going to be a whole nother that's going to be a whole nother thing on top of the snow. So we had mud before, now we have snow. Now we're getting ready to get probably quite a few inches of mud to have to wade through. But since you're the only one on here, I was hoping more people would hop on, which it's not quite 8 o'clock yet. We have hit our first milestone. This is our very first year on YouTube. We've hit our year mark tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 23rd, which is my birthday. And so that's how I know exactly when we did the YouTube channel. That's how I remember the date, is because I did it on my birthday. I posted our very first video. I had done a video previous to that. I think it was in the kitchen. And thank you. I think it was in the kitchen, and the video was so bad. I told Andy, I was like, I cannot post this. But we are hitting our very first milestone, very first video posted tomorrow, the 23rd. And so I'm super excited about that. I'm hoping to get monetized soon. The only thing is I've hit my subscribers, but I have not hit my hours. I'm about 200, I think the last time I checked, I'm about 220 hours from actually getting monetized. So probably not going to hit that by tomorrow. You have to hit it within a 365 day period. So that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, a lot of people think that it's the 1,000 subscribers because that's what people have to work the hardest to get. But for whatever reason, in my case, I've struggled to get my watch hours. I met my subscribers. I'm over my amount of subscribers. Let's see. To start your first goal you have to meet is, I'm trying to think, it's 1,000 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours. And so that's your first goal. And then your next goal, I think, is 2,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Or maybe 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. I can't remember. It's something like that. I don't know why I can't remember, because I check it on a daily basis, because I've been really anxious about meeting them goals, and we just didn't make it this year. But I'm super proud of this community, and I love you all. And you all have been a wonderful community. But have you been seeing ads on my video? See, here, me and Chastity have been going through this, because me and Chastity are really close. If y'all didn't know, Chastity is, she is married to my husband's cousin. And so she's my best friend. And so we're really close. So she helps me pay attention to all my hours and my things like that. But for whatever reason, she and her both have been monitoring my watch hours. And for whatever reason, YouTube has taken watch hours from me, like a significant amount of watch hours. Like one specific time, they took 30 watch hours from me. And we couldn't really figure out why. We weren't sure why they did that. And I think that that's part of the reason as to why I haven't been able to meet my watch hours is because they've been taken away. So we'll just have to see. I only see them at the beginning, but not in between. At the beginning of my videos. That's interesting because I didn't. You know what? I just noticed that. Y'all are talking about ads. I just noticed that because I've been trying to get my watch hours, and I've been watching my videos on somebody else's account, and I just realized that there is ads in them. Or in the beginning. Was there always ads in the beginning? Do you all know? I just noticed that though. Maybe it's because, no, not always. So, I don't understand. See, I just feel like things are being taken away from me, honestly. It's made it a little bit harder, especially since I've listened to other YouTubers and heard other people talking about getting monetized and, like meeting their first 1,000 subscribers. I'm over 1,000 subscribers. Last time I checked, I was like 1,100, like maybe 1,160. Somewhere around that range. So I don't understand how I can have 1,160 subscribers doing at least one live a week, sometimes 2 lives a week, and the amount of people that show up on the lives and the amount of time we have it. Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. I don't really know how that works. I really need to talk to another person to kind of figure it out. By the way, since we're talking to another person that has a YouTube channel, Chastity's husband has a YouTube channel as well, and he is he's got like an outdoorsy channel. He's also a truck driver, and so he does videos on the road. Chastity, what is the name of his channel, just so I don't mess it up? I'm thinking it's Bluegrass Outdoors. But you go ahead and leave a comment of his channel so people can see it. That way I'm not telling you all wrong, because for whatever reason I don't want to, well, I know why. I don't want to mess it up. But he has supported our channel, and of course Chastity supported our channel as well. But hopefully we can get monetized soon. We'll just have to see. I'm working towards that. I'm working towards monetization. I feel good about Bluegrass Outdoors, she said. That's Dylan's channel, so if anybody's on here and they want to watch Dylan's channel, he does have a channel. He works with wood a lot, and also, like I said, he is a truck driver in training, and he's on the road now, and so he's traveling, and he's probably going to be able to show a lot of cool places and a lot of cool things that he gets to do out on the road. So it's pretty great. It's pretty fun. But I think that, but I'm just like, I got distracted. I hope we can monetize soon. I'm really working towards the goal of monetization. But I'm super thankful for the subscribers I do have, the people that are on this channel, the community that we have, documenting trucking now. Yeah. The subscribers and the support that I do have. I mean, I've watched. Yeah, that's what she's saying, that there should be somebody that I could talk to about that. But I'm proud of the subscribers that I do have and the amount that we do have. I mean, it would be nice to be monetized, especially since you do put a lot of work into YouTubing. It's a lot of hours and a lot of time. And especially if you're doing something like me where you're not just sitting, but you're having to move the camera around. that kind of adds to it. But that's okay. Like I said, I'm working towards the monetization goal. But if I don't meet it, then if I don't meet it before my birthday, which is tomorrow, I mean, miracles can happen, but I don't think really. See, I talked to my sister. She said another channel reached 100,000 and was upset, never got an award plaque. I think that where it's such a big platform, that people just kind of get shorthanded, and I feel like I have been shorthanded, but I don't want to dwell on it so much. I wouldn't even know who to blame, honestly. Um, I think the one thing that aggravates me about it is that I've had hours taken away. Just here recently, where I've been staying up with it, and I hadn't talked to Chastity about this, but we were talking about my hours and the amount of time that I needed to meet them. And it was like 2,752 hours, and it had been at 2,752 hours for like a week. For like a really long time, it had been at that. And I was thinking, are people not watching my videos? How am I not getting this time? And then the very next day I checked it, and it had dropped down an entire hour. And so I don't know how I'm losing hours, or going long periods of time without gaining any hours. Hello, how are you? But that's okay. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I'm super excited about being able to have an entire year on YouTube. I know a lot of people start YouTube and don't finish. They get, aggravated or burn out on it. And I'm just glad that I made it to a year. And I feel like you should post animal memes. That's a great way to get subscribers, and I'll tell you the number one most animal that we get the most views on is chickens. By far, people want to see chickens more than anything, which is funny to me because I love my chickens, but I do the least amount of work for the chickens. I put the least amount of effort in the chickens, but for whatever reason, people love them. And people like to laugh. The internet loves chickens. Why? I don't know. I almost feel like there's like millions of people out there that their favorite farm animal is a chicken. And I think it's because people, when they think of farms, like what's the first animals you think of? Like when I think of like a farm, which we don't have none on our farm right now, but when I think of a farm, I think of like a cow, a chicken, and a horse. So I don't know. I don't know what it is about chickens. For me, when I'm scrolling through, which I don't have a lot of time to scroll through people's videos, honestly, I don't. When people think of farms, they think of roosters and chickens. Yeah, that's what it is. So majority of the people that watch my channel, I feel like primarily watch it for chicken content. I don't know what it is. Or just post bloopers or mess ups on your videos, inside jokes, because you know what I'm talking about. I posted a short of my chickens and got 4,000 views in an hour. I was shocked. LOL, wasn't even like that interesting. I know. I can put a video of like chickens pecking at the ground on a short, and within, I don't know, less than an hour, I've got over 1,000 views on it. And I'm like, I don't know. They don't seem very interesting to me. Awesome. That's great. See, that's what we're celebrating is my 1 year anniversary. Happy anniversary to Leonard Creek. We've been on a year tomorrow. I'm gonna have to check out your channel. I didn't. Thank you for coming on our live. I'll have to check out your channel. Show roosters getting in trouble. Yeah, that's they're troublemakers. It's funny though because I never thought that chickens would be it. But you can, like Eric said, you can post a short of a chicken and people go crazy. I'm gonna watch the chickens. For me though, if I was gonna scroll through when I have time to scroll through shorts, it's rabbits. It's baby bunnies eating. Like, have you all seen the videos of the baby rabbits eating like vegetables? That's what I like to watch. But when I post that, I don't know if you all have seen it, but I've got shorts of like rabbits eating or like rabbits eating the bananas. I mean, people don't even like that. And to me, that is adorable. I would much rather see that than a chicken pecking at the ground. But people like the chickens pecking at the ground. I don't know. I think once we move, I'll put more effort into YouTube. My life isn't that interesting right now to post things. I just post things here and there. Yeah, I don't. It's funny because when I started gaining subscribers that weren't like my people, that weren't like my friends and family, I was like, do people really find me interesting? Because I'm super boring. Also, I'm a really plain person. I just am. I'm very plain. And you know, you can watch YouTube channels, but usually YouTube channels that have women, especially, fun fact, if you all don't realize that you might find interesting, over like 70%, almost 80%, hi, hello, almost 80% of people that watch my YouTube channel are men. And they're men in their between 50s and 60 years old, which I find very interesting, especially because I'm a woman. And I think it just has to do with my content, that I'm just a farmer. I found you planting garden stuff. Yeah, I'm a woman farmer. And so I see myself as very plain. I don't know. I don't see myself as a very interesting person. And so I started the YouTube channel hoping that it would like take off, but realizing that if it didn't take off, it's probably because I'm boring. And I'm very plain. I'm very, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not anything interesting. They probably like the chickens because they're eating them. Oh, probably. I don't know what it is. I don't know why my viewers are older men. They would probably get offended if I called them an old man. But my viewers are between 50 and 60 years old, men. The women that watch me is very, very low, which is funny because most of the people that comment on my videos are women. And I, like Daisy Q, she watches my videos, I guess all of my videos, comments on them. She comes to my lives. Chastity watches my channel. There's all kinds of women that I have contact with that I carry on conversations with almost on a daily basis, back and forth through comments or on lives. So the men are just silently in the back watching. Gardening gets a lot of interest. The thing about gardening, and I think a lot of people are here for the gardening, I love to garden, guys. I dream all winter about the gardening. And I don't know if that's why people like watching it, because the fact I ate orange chicken before this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just, it's all the chickens. I love gardening, and I don't know if people, I guess people, I think primarily people have found me through gardening, and I love that. I absolutely love that because gardening is like, I love to garden. It's a passion. I adore gardening. I love being out in the garden. It's my happy place. I spend the majority of the summer in the garden, working in the garden, adding plants in the garden, um, preserving fruit and produce from the garden, selling produce, having my hands on produce, turning the produce into different things into the kitchen. I love it. I love it. Um, and did you see everybody? And so I don't know if that's what I'm more known for. I guess that sounds like that's what I'm either chickens or gardening. I guess that's what I'm known for. But I knew when I started this channel that if it wasn't successful, it was probably because I was playing. So it's kind of funny to me that it is a success, which people would laugh if these people that have like 100,000 subscribers or more than that. Mr. Beast would probably laugh at me if he heard me say that my channel is successful, but I find that it is a success, and it's because of the community. It's because of you all. We've all come together as a community, and we all have a common interest, which is farming. And it sounds like most of it is gardening and chickens. And I'm perfectly okay with that. And I hope soon, for those of you that are here, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm proud of that, honestly. And I don't mean to say it in a braggy way, because I honestly, I didn't know if YouTube was going to be like a thing. I didn't know if it was actually going to take off. And um, I don't I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't want to sound, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm talking myself down, but I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not like never was like super popular in school. Like, people didn't hate me, or I had friends in school and stuff like that, but I'm not the popular kid, and so I knew, like, there's people in my community that have channels that have all kinds of subscribers, and people absolutely love to them, and they flock to their channels for different things that they do, and those are things that I can't do. But like we're talking about the chickens and the gardening and things like that, that's stuff that I can do. I have way too much homework to do. I tell you what, bud, we homeschool, and we need a break. We start homeschool after gardening season is done, because gardening is a full-time job. It's a full-time job. And so, yeah, it's a full-time job, and homeschool is a full-time job. And if we have not been able to master homeschooling and full-time gardening work, we haven't been able to juggle that. And so, yeah, Chastity said I've got four kids homeschooled and a house that never cleaned, though I clean too much. Thankful, though. Yeah, Chastity's got a whole slew of kids over there, and she has a desire to garden, but she's not been able to master it either. It's hard, and I know a lot of homeschoolers and a lot of homeschooling channels and farm channels that take off during the summertime, during the garden months, because it is very hard to juggle all of that. Gardening, like I said, is a full-time job. My wife loves gardening. We do pretty decent to make pickles and stuff. Yeah. It's hard. Not just the gardening, like keeping a garden weeded and clean and taken care of, or even just planting the garden, just getting your soil ready to be planted, adding compost, adding fertilizer if you add fertilize, just keeping your garden clean, If you've watched any of my garden videos, I don't like weeds. I don't like weeds in the garden. Our garden got taken over by weeds last year, mostly because we used horse manure mixed with hay, and of course that caused, grass and weeds to come up, and so we worked really hard on the garden at the farm. But if you haven't watched our channel very long, we have two gardens. We have a home garden, which I call my kitchen garden, which I, cook fresh out of the garden, bring it into my home, and cook it for supper and meals. And then we have our farm garden, which we consume a little bit out of, because there's a few things we can grow there that we can't grow here. But it is our canning garden, and it is a full-time job. I'm trying to think. I think we had over 46 tomato plants last year. That's just tomato plants. That's just the plants that are that was just out to the farm. That's not including the 12 or 13 that we planted out here. So 46 tomato plants that you're having to weed around, that you're having to maintain, that you're having to, to prune, to take back, to save the fruit off of, to make sure the fruit doesn't go too far. And things fell behind last year as well, because we took a vacation in August. We took a vacation at the beginning of August, or no, it was the end of August, and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law were in charge of the garden. And if you don't know, my father-in-law is he's a very sick man. He is recovering, but he has a hard time getting around sometimes, and he also takes dialysis, which weakens him, along with other conditions that he has, and so he has a hard time even getting out to the garden. And then my mother-in-law works full-time as a nurse, and so she spends long hours not being there, and so we lost fruit last year to the garden, because we spent an entire week gone. And we just had to say goodbye to quite a few watermelons and cantaloupes that didn't get picked in time. So it's a big thing to maintain gardens. It's a lot of work, but I love it. Like, gardening is my happy place. It brings so much joy to me. I'm gonna scroll up through here because I missed so many comments. Let me see. Yeah, hitting 1,000 before the year. I found you from the more than farmers. Yeah, I remember that live chat. I'd like to garden, just got okay. Love gardening, but have too much homework. I've seen that message. You definitely inherit how to ease frugal way, living minimal. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about it is, we're playing people, we're playing mountain people, and I am perfectly okay. I embrace and love our way of life, our heritage, the things that are around. I've talked about it before, I think on a different live. My mother is from the northern Kentucky area, and my dad lived in Kentucky a big part of his life, but he's from Missouri, and so I grew up with two different types. Well, where my dad grew up in Missouri, and kind of how my mom grew up. My dad grew up kind of more country than my mom did in general. My mom was more of like a city girl, I guess is the best way to put it. Although she spent a lot of time in the country. But she didn't learn her mother worked and things like that, and so she didn't learn the skills that I have now learned myself, such as canning. My mom also worked, had, a full-time job my entire childhood. And so she didn't have the time, although she loves garden food, she didn't have the time and or the space in most places that we lived to grow a garden. And so those are the things that I learned living in this area, and the things that I took into my adulthood. I learned these things as a teenager, and as a young adult, and took into my adulthood. I'm almost 30 years old. And so I've had to learn how to can. I've had to learn how to raise a garden. Now, before me and my husband got together, I did work as at a greenhouse as a teenager, and so my love of plants started then. I wanted to be a florist. I actually went to college, to be I went for business management, but I was going to own my own floral shop. That didn't work out. Hopefully later on in life that, will happen. I will succeed at that. But I love plants. I love flowers. I love gardening. I love having my hands in the dirt. I love it. There's a YouTuber that I watch or used to watch. I don't have time to really watch YouTube videos anymore. I stay pretty busy. But she wears gloves when she gardens. And she talks about why she wears gloves, and she just doesn't like getting her hands dirty. I love the feeling of my hands in the dirt. I love that feeling. I love being able to just, I don't know. I love it. I guess the same reason why I don't wear shoes in the summertime hardly. If you watch my videos from the summer, if you're new here, you haven't been watching very long, if you watch my videos from the summer, I wear sandals in the summertime, and I wore tennis shoes a lot throughout the end of the summer into August, which is something I don't do, and the reason why is because I broke my favorite sandals. And so I had to wear tennis shoes. Something else that I wear a lot is those bob shoes that are like cloth. That way my feet can get just dirty and wet, and a lot of times I don't even wear shoes. I just walk around barefooted. If there's not anywhere that's got gravel. And the goats were bad to step on my toes too, so I did have to sometimes wear shoes in the goat pen. But I don't have goats this year, so all we've got is chickens and rabbits, and so y'all are probably going to see me running around barefoot a lot. When I'm in the garden, a lot of times I'm barefoot. I love it. I love just feeling the dirt. I love just being in dirt. And so I think that's why I love gardening so much, because I love plants. And I love getting dirty. I love just having hands, feet, everything in the dirt. We run a lot of clothes and a lot of shoes. I go through, I don't know. I wear those Bobs, the Skechers Bob shoes, and I go through a pair of those a year. Usually a season, usually the spring and summer season, and those shoes are done for, because we spend a lot of time in just messes, getting our feet wet, getting our feet dirty, and I love it. I love it. Let me see. My wife loves gardening. We do pretty decent. We have pickles. Okay. It's hard. All veggies come in at the same time. Veggies are crazy. Last year I planted corn and pumpkins and squash, and my chickens found a way to get in and ate all the seeds out of the ground, which made me really happy. If you watch our videos, Eric, from the summer, there's a video or two that I talk about. We kept having our tomatoes get eaten. And we couldn't figure out what was eating our tomatoes. And somebody had made the suggestion that it was a turtle was coming and taking big bites of our tomatoes. And I was like, well, I guess that's possible. It's probably not going to come back. How much tomato? Is it just going to continue to come back? Well, we kept having tomatoes. I lost I think over 40 tomatoes last year to these turtles, which actually turned out to be the chickens. The chickens were eating our tomatoes like they were going out of style, like they were never coming back. And so we lost quite a few tomatoes to the chickens last year. Yes, there's deer in our area. Typically, though, I think where we have a big dog, a big, loud, scary dog, and our little yard dog, I don't think that they come through our yard. We don't see like we used to when we had the cows and stuff. We don't see deer tracks, deer fur, or anything like that. Deer have to go through quite a few fences to be able to get to our garden. So no, our main predator is birds. To the to the animals and to the garden. Since we got the dog, at least they taste good later on. I guess. I guess that's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. Except that they're Andy's chickens, which are our chickens we don't eat. So, so that's there's that. I do have chickens now that I raised up in the spring, though, that spend the majority of their time. It's just 3 chickens. It's my white rooster that we call Colonel, and then his 2 sisters, which is Dove and Topper, and they walk the entire yard. The problem with that is Queenie, our little yard dog, is a chicken killer, and so I've got a feeling I'm going to come out there and she's going to have them got. But maybe they'll get wise and stay in the fenced-in area, or stay close to the barn. Queenie doesn't come down there and kill chickens close to the barn. She kills them when they get up close to her territory, which is the house. She doesn't appreciate them up there, and so she killed quite a few of our expensive chickens over the summer and the fall, which is, fun. But that's okay. We choose to let our chickens free range, and that's just part of it. But it's just part of it. I feel like it's better for them as a whole. We've had them in coops, and they've done all right. But I like seeing a chicken out walking the farm. I like seeing chickens roosting in trees, and so that's just what we choose to do. Some people put them up, and we do have a coop that they go up and roost in at night, and they feed, and they lay their eggs in. But I love just seeing a chicken just walking through the yard. So we'll have to see if we're going to continue to let them do that, because they might eat our garden to pieces. I have portable fence and move mine around the yard. Yeah. That, are you like a portable electric fence? I find those very interesting. Our new pasture that we're building is going to be electrified, mostly to keep things out. But I've got a feeling that it might keep the birds in a little more. I've heard of I've seen people use the Premier One fencing. The portable fences that you carry around, and honestly, I'm looking into maybe wanting to do, I had to talk Andy into it, doing rabbit trackers to pull through the yard. I don't know anything about that. That's something to look into. You said how do you do super chat on lives? I don't know, Daisy Q. Maybe somebody on here could let me know. I have no clue how to do super chat. I'm very not tech savvy when it comes to things like that. I'd have to look it up, I guess is the best way to say that, because I don't know. Maybe somebody would be able to tell us. But as of now, I don't know. But yeah, I think that it would be a good thing to use well, you don't have to do that, actually. I don't know how to do that, though. You don't have to. You don't have to give me anything for my birthday. Let me see. There's a button that says start a poll. Oh, I don't know how. I don't know. Can you? I might not be able to do that because I'm not. I don't know. I don't know, Daisy Q. I don't know. I wish I could help you out, but honestly, you don't have. You don't have to. You don't have to. Yeah, I don't either. I don't. Let me see. It has a start a poll. Anybody on here know how to do the super chats on live? Because now I'm wondering. But a happy birthday is perfectly okay. You don't even have to tell me happy birthday, actually. But I do. I appreciate it. You're so sweet. I can't even remember what I was going to say. Oh, the rabbit tractors. I think that it would be good for the grow outs. We're coming up on processing time, and I've said this in videos before, or a recent video, I think, that the rabbits are just not, we might let them go a little bit longer than 12 weeks. I was prepared to do it 12 weeks, but then we had this weather, and, negative degree weather out there. Dipping your hands in water and trying to keep the rabbit fur from going everywhere, and having to dip the rabbit in water and having to do all that when it's negative degree weather and you got wind chill everywhere. And then we've got the big rain coming, and we're hitting 12 weeks this week. Tomorrow, I think the rabbits are ready. I think the rabbits are 12 weeks tomorrow. And as much as I don't want to continue to feed them because they're eating us out of house and home, I think we're going to let them go a little bit longer, mostly because of weather circumstances, but secondly because they're not getting as big as I would like them to be. And I think that that's partly because we raised them in the wintertime. I've done videos about raising them in the wintertime, and I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it anymore. I've declared that I'm not going to do it anymore. I was planning to breed in February to have March babies, and I still might do that. But having babies in January and February, having babies in December is a no bueno for me. I will not be, unless I absolutely have to, unless circumstances, are going wrong and I don't have any other way, Lord's will, or we, have a way to have animals that are in a heated area, or rabbits that are in a heated area, a heated barn. I never say never, but that's, as of now, we can't do rabbits in the wintertime. And I have noticed that these grow outs are so... Sorry, I heard something weird. These grow outs are so small. They're not, they're just not there. And so it's kind of disappointing, honestly. And all the issues that we had with having rabbits in the wintertime, the issues that we had with Pipsqueak. And that's another thing, guys. I was going to do a video on it. I haven't decided whether I want to do a video on it or not, but Pipsqueak has been exhibiting some very, very bad behavior. So much so that if it wasn't, the weather wasn't going to be the way, that the weather isn't the way that it was supposed to be, she would not be here. She would have already been cold. She has been attacking us inside the cage. She bit. I had gloves on the other day because it's been cold, and I have little short fingers, and I had gloves on, and she bit the top of my finger where the glove was at. Yeah, the small babies are the ones that are hers. Yeah. And I have, she has just completely did a 180. And I'm not going to have, honestly, she has gotten so bad. And it's all food related. She's perfectly fine after she's eaten, but when you go in there to feed her, she well, what happened, actually, what happened is Andy had to feed her one day, and she bit him. And he said, Pipsqueak bit me. And I said, she bit you? And he said, yeah. I said, maybe it's just because she's not used to you feeding her. Well, I come in the next day to feed her, and she growled at me, tried to bite me, and started clawing. And she was clawing and coming at me that she was halfway out of the cage, halfway in the cage, growling after the food. And I wasn't about to push her back in. She had to pull herself back in. So like halfway of her body's out, and like her front legs are out. She's balancing by her belly and her back legs, and she backed herself back into the cage, but she was hanging out of it. And I kind of pushed the gate closed that she could balance herself on it, but I was not getting ready to stick my hand in there. And ever since then, that day that Andy fed her, and I know he wasn't mean to her, did anything crazy to her or anything that would cause her behavior to be that way. But since that time, I'm scared to feed her. Because every day it's some type of aggression. And like I said, if the weather wasn't as bad as what it was, I don't want to cull her and waste her. I want to cull her and, be able to put her in the freezer. But that aggressive behavior I'm not going to tolerate that, especially since Lakin feeds the animals as well. And Lakin's terrified of her. And so I don't really know what happened that caused her to be that way. Now, when she was younger, I did a video about her food aggression, but it was nothing like that. She never did bite. She never did claw, but she would act real antsy when you would go to feed her. And I talked to some other people, and they said, well, that's pretty normal. That's okay. But she's my only rabbit that has ever acted like that when it comes to feeding time. And even her brother and her mother, like, they throw their feed bowls everywhere, and so you got to stick your hand in the cage and you're fishing for it, and they're kind of hopping around and they're blocking, but none of them ever have like outright come out and attacked me, or tried to attack me, or have bit me over food. Sometimes you might have like a little baby nip you, or, like I had when we brought Maybelline, she nipped my finger. It was it was the first time I'd ever handled her. And, I was pushing her down in the box, and she didn't want that. But she didn't just downright bite me. Pipsqueak would have she bit so hard down on that glove that if my finger was in the glove, she probably would have took the tip of my finger off. Or at least put her teeth down in it. She would have done some type of damage to something. And so that's a scary thought. And like I said, she would have been cold right on spot if I didn't want to waste her. But we've been feeding her for 2 weeks since that behavior, and nothing has changed. She's very food aggressive. And like I said, as soon as she gets her grain, she's fine. And I know that she's not hungry because she is not eating, she's not eating all of her food at one time. She's wanting her food in there immediately. And if you don't get it in there when she sees you, she comes out and attacks you, or tries to bite you, or kicks at you, or lunges at you, or I don't know if some of you all understand rabbit behavior. They can growl like a dog or grunt, and she's been doing that. And so I'm not breeding her, obviously, no more. And she won't be being fed very much longer on the farm because, it's scary. And I've talked about this on videos before about how rabbits can they can do damage. If you've got a mean rabbit, I'm not talking about scratches and stuff. Like, I've showed this before. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I have scratches on my arms, like, all the time. I don't actually have any now, but I have scars on my arm from when we moved rabbits before. One got scared and they dug their back claws into me. That happens. I'm not talking about scratches. I'm talking about rabbits can literally bite the tip of your finger off. They can bite. I had saw videos. Somebody got bit right here and had to get 6 stitches in their hand, because rabbits can do some damage, especially with their teeth. It's expected when you're handling a rabbit to get scratched. They just scratch. Like anybody that has ever had to deal with rabbits, they scratch. They do that. But I will not. I will not have a rabbit on the farm. I will not continue to feed a rabbit on the farm no longer than I have to if they bite. Because especially if it's an aggressive bite, like an actual bite, not like a, leave me alone nip. I don't really like nips, but definitely a bite. We can't do it, because I'm not willing to lose my finger over a rabbit. I'm not willing to go to the hospital and get stitches over a rabbit, especially since I raise them for food. They can fill the freezer with their little bitey attitude, is how I feel about it. And people are leaving the chat probably because they they think I'm being mean. I love the bunnies. Anybody that knows me and knows my channel and watch my channel, we treat our animals well. We're not abusive to our animals. We take care of our animals, but we do choose to eat some of our animals. But they have one bad day, as they say. They're treated with love and kindness and care and fed and not mistreated, and taken very well care of, until, their day comes. And so that's just part of it. That's how the real world works. And that's how nature rolls. An animal that is in a pack situation, or in a home situation with other animals, bad behavior is not going to be tolerated, just like it wouldn't be tolerated, and it's not tolerated on our farm. It's not going to be very long that if a rabbit or an animal out in the wild starts being aggressive to its siblings or its parents or its animals, that it's gone. If you've ever watched any nature shows with like lions and things like that, once the cubs, sorry, I dropped something. Once the cubs get big enough that they can, hold their own, they're sent away, because aggressive behavior is not fun. It's not fun to get beat up on. And so, anyways, like I said, I thought about doing a video about it. I still don't know if I'm going to do a video about it, but we've had some major issues with Pipsqueak, and so yeah, I don't either. I don't know what's going on. I wouldn't even know where to begin for that. I have no clue. I have no clue how to do the super chats. Also, like Daisy Key was talking about, her babies were small. Her babies had nest eye for no reason. Her babies were the hardest to wean. I don't think I talked about it on videos, but after I weaned her babies, they started getting, we did talk about it. They started getting sick, and some of them died. So, she's not really even putting off that good of offspring anyways. So even if I wasn't, even if she wasn't showing aggressive behavior, I thought about giving her a second chance. But after she's showing aggressive behavior and almost like severely hurting me, I'm not going to keep her as a breeder, and I'm not going to pass her on to somebody else as a breeder with that type of behavior. I did have her listed as available, but I took my listings down because I can't sell a rabbit to somebody that I don't know is sound. I just can't do it. And so I want to raise sound, kind, handleable animals on the farm that will be good, a good all-around animal for any situation. And if you've watched videos, I can't think of what their channel is in particular, but people that raise rabbits, a lot of times they'll talk about handling their babies. People that raise rabbits for just meat, they might keep back a breeder or something there, but when they raise rabbits for meat, they talk about handling your babies from the get-go, handling them from the very beginning, because you want a gentle rabbit. You want a gentle rabbit for grow outs. You want a gentle rabbit for breeders. You want a gentle rabbit for resale. It's not going to do anything but benefit you to have a gentle rabbit. Rabbits that are not gentle cause damage to you. They cause damage to their self. They cause damage to their siblings. They cause damage to their parents. And if you're processing a rabbit for meat, for freezer meat, and you want those rabbits to be gentle, because if the very first time you pick up a rabbit is to process it, for those of you that haven't heard a rabbit squeal or scream, it's so sad. And just having a rabbit squealing and screaming its very last few minutes on earth, and so you want to make sure that you're handling rabbits. We talk about, when we process animals on the farm, about having one bad day. You want your animals to feel loved and taken care of and have all their needs met before they leave here. Everybody wants that. And so that's why we handle animals from the very bad. When we when we had our goat baby, we handled him from the very beginning. We pulled him out of the womb, but we handled him from the very beginning. And that's another thing. When we were talking about Pipsqueak, she did okay with me handling her babies. But she did show some slight aggressive behavior. I think that there was a video that I did where I was cleaning out her cage and she started kicking me with her front feet. She was standing on her back feet and she was kicking me. And I just kind of brushed that off as like normal behavior, protecting her babies. But then now that I'm thinking back, that I shouldn't have accepted that behavior. I shouldn't have been okay with her being aggressive towards me like that, because I believe that she's just aggressive in general. I believe that she just has some hidden behaviors. Although we handled her from the very beginning, she's just a bad egg. And if you're trying to raise gentle and kind animals, you don't want to keep the bad eggs. At least chickens go limp when upside down. Yeah. Yeah. We process animals a little bit different. I've not done a video on it. And I've not, mostly because, there's just a lot around that. A lot of things that you can't show, on YouTube. A lot of people use the cones, and eviscerating, and we don't do that. And so I don't want to go into it on a live, because I don't want to get we did get in trouble over the last couple lives about something that was said. But yeah, at least they're a lot easier to process. And rabbits can be easy to process if they're handled correctly throughout. Will you let him out, Lakin? If they're handled correctly throughout their lifetime. That way they're not scared. Because that's the thing about it. If you pick up a rabbit, their automatic reaction is, I'm a prey animal and I'm scared. And so chickens, we handle our chickens like crazy. Lakin is our little chicken catcher.
Chicken wrangler.
Chicken wrangler. She's the chicken wrangler. She can catch a chicken way better, way faster, way quicker than I ever thought about catching a rabbit. Or catching a chicken. I'm not good with the chickens. I'm the rabbit handler. Lakin handles the rabbits too, but The more wily ones, the bigger ones I tend to handle. And I'm perfectly okay with catching a rabbit and not a chicken. A rabbit can't go very far in the cage. I'm not quick enough for catching chickens. But anyways, that all that to say that you want to try to gentle down your rabbits, and sometimes it don't work. Like in Pipsqueak's case, she's just mean. She is just what I call a bad egg. And I gave her a chance, and I can honestly say that she has been given, she's had a breeding season. But she showed aggressive behavior a few times down through her life. Probably things that I shouldn't have, said, okay, this is okay because this is the situation. I shouldn't have been okay with that. And so I've learned my lesson. One good thing about it is, most of her, well, maybe not necessarily a good thing, but most of her babies have passed. And we've got two left, which are grow outs. And so they're going to go in the freezer. They don't show any aggressive behavior whatsoever, but they're bucks, and bucks just tend to be more chill. If I'm going to be downright honest with you, I've heard it said both ways. A lot of people say bucks show more aggressive behavior, or I've heard people say bucks show more aggressive behavior, but in my experience, it's the does that show the more aggressive behavior. They're the ones that run around the cage. They're the ones that are hard. At least on our farm, they seem to be harder to handle, harder to pick up, less likely to want you to pick them up. We do have the two boys, though. We have Blue and Manly will come to the cage to be picked up. He loves to be picked up. And we handle the bucks just as much as we handle the does. Actually, if anything, I have not handled Blue as much as I would have liked to. Manly's been handled quite a bit because he's Lakin's favorite. But the girls are just they're built different. I don't know. And so anyways, that is what's going on on the farm, and hopefully, like I said, we will be able to process the rabbits soon. But that's all going to depend on the weather. I don't want to be out doing it in the rain either. So we'll let them get a little bit bigger. And when we process the grow outs. Now, something we have discussed and we've talked about, Lakin was going to keep one of the males out of the grow outs, but where we have decided to cull Pipsqueak, I think we're going to keep the only female that we had back from the grow outs, and she is out of Clover. She is not out of Pipsqueak. And so she will be Pipsqueak's replacement. She won't be able to be bred for a little while, but that's okay because for our grow outs, or for our meat rabbits, we still have one breeder, which is Clover, and then one female breeder, which is Clover, and one male breeder, which is Blue, and I'm okay with that. We have plans to expand the rabbitry. Culling Pipsqueak is going to open up the cage, and so I will probably put Blue in that cage that's up, because as of now, he still hasn't been put up over top of Clover. I talked about that. We just still haven't done it due to weather and different of things. And so we will bring that leftover female possibly in to take Pipsqueak's place. She might go in Blue's cage, or she might go in Pipsqueak's cage. I don't know yet. And then that will open up that hutch that all the grow outs are in. And so probably what I will do, like I said, is I plan to breed, I plan to start breeding the rabbits for March babies. And so I'm thinking that maybe I will breed Blue and Clover in February to have March babies. And then we will have to wait, was it March, April? It's either April or May, we will breed the Rexes and have some late spring babies. So that's what's on the roster. We'll see what happens. Good Lord willing. I'm on the lookout for a breeding age male, registered breeding age mini Rex buck. And we have not been able to find any, even just within like a 2-hour radius in our area. I'd rather not travel 2 hours, but even that far, we haven't really been able to find any that meet our needs. Most of them are September born, which is what our buck is. And so that's a letdown, but that's where we're at. But I'm super excited to just kind of dedicate more time to the rabbits. Now that the goats are gone, I will be able to have a little bit of time to dedicate to the rabbits in the spring and summertime. And in the fall. But like I said, we won't be having no winter babies. Maybe some late fall grow outs. But no babies in December. No babies in December, January or February. I will not be doing that. I learned my lesson. I talked to Andy too, because we were talking about it. Most people probably think I'm nuts. Most people breed every 6 weeks. They give their does rest in summertime and they breed every 6 weeks. And to me, that's crazy. Yeah, we could have more meat in the freezer, but I love the rabbits, but I don't want to deal with rabbits every 6 weeks. Especially when you have multiple does. I have 5 or 6 does. If I had 5 or 6 does that had babies every 6 weeks, and each one of them had 8 babies, y'all would be swimming in babies. And so I can't do it. Now, I don't see nothing wrong with it. If people want to do it, that's perfectly okay. I do believe in letting your does have a break. Actually, I think they breed them at 4 to 5 weeks so that they can have babies in 6 weeks. They breed them while the babies are still in. Yeah. Yeah, they need a break. And so we let our girls have breaks. I said that they breed every 6 weeks. They breed for them to have babies every 6 weeks. I breed 3 times a year, typically. Once their babies hit 6 weeks old and are weaned. I don't put the doe back with the buck until the babies are weaned. And like I said, we will definitely not be doing wintertime this year. Pipsqueak Pipsqueak and Clover could have been rebred. The babies are 12 weeks old. But we are taking a break in the wintertime, and I'm not going... I have no intention of being breeding my does 6 weeks every 4 to 5 weeks for them to have babies every 6 weeks back to back. If that's how people want to do things, that's perfectly fine. But I can't do it. And so you got to know your limits. Especially throughout the spring and summer. We're going to be spending a lot of time out in the garden. We were talking about the garden. And I've talked to y'all before about starting seeds, and how the last 2 or 3 years we haven't been able to start seeds. Hopefully this year we'll be able to get back to starting seeds in the house. I do have plans to start a few different peppers in the house. I'm probably going to maybe start a few tomato breeds. We don't have to start pretty much anything else in the house besides tomatoes and peppers. Something I do want to do as well is Oliver, what? I want to grow more flowers in the garden this year. I don't really have much room out here in our... Oliver, quit. I have flower beds here at our house, and they're absolutely full. I don't have much room out in our garden out here. I usually grow sunflowers. Did you start seeds from greenhouse or direct seed plant? we, the last couple years, have bought plants from the greenhouse, and then we direct seed planted into the ground our green beans, cucumbers, our lettuces. Oliver, quit, honey. Hold on, let me get this dog. Come here. Come here. Come here. Quit. Oh, he's dying for attention. I had to grab him weird. So, say hi. You don't got me distracted. But this year we plan on doing maybe some seed trays this year in-house for the garden. Hold on just a second. I'm going to mute these people because they'll be carrying on a long conversation. Never mind, I can't do that. Okay. But anywho, we'll see what happens. We had on I think our last live, I talked about how we had some friends from Hawaii who sent us some Hawaiian peppers. And so we're definitely going to be doing those. I'm going to make sure they don't cross-pollinate, though. I'm going to do my best to try to make sure they don't cross-pollinate. I'll probably grow them away from everything else. I don't know whether it be here or at the farm, but they're supposed to be like a sweet, like a sweet spicy pepper, I guess. So we'll have to see. But I'm super excited about that, and I want to keep the seeds as pure as possible. To be able to know what we have, and whether we like it or not. And like I said, I don't want anything cross-pollinating. So we'll have to see. But we still probably will buy stuff from our local greenhouses. We like supporting our local greenhouses. Also, I just like being in a greenhouse. I think I mostly buy from a greenhouse because I just like being in a greenhouse. I like just seeing all the different plants. Our local greenhouse is huge. And you can buy tomato plants for like 75 cents each. Tomato plants that are like this tall for 75 cents. And so you can't beat that, and you're supporting a local greenhouse, which we had a greenhouse grower in our area. Yeah, we have there's 2 greenhouses that we supported last year. One of them was a small Amish family that we supported, and they had quite a few heirloom breeds. Actually, we bought majority of our tomatoes from them. And then the other one is a local greenhouse that is really huge. It's a really large greenhouse. It's off a main road. You talk to some people and they say, yeah, we've been to that greenhouse. My mama bought the plants from them. And then other people are like, I didn't even know it existed. But they also have heirloom breed tomatoes, and they have a big, large variety of different landscaping plants, along with, we usually get our Mother's Day presents there. I usually buy my mom some type of potted plant every year. We usually buy his mom some type of potted plant. Last year we bought her some hanging baskets for her porch. My mom doesn't have any hanging baskets, so usually we have to, buy freestanding plants. But I really like supporting them. I like supporting my community. They're small. They're just small farmers that just have a large greenhouse, and their prices are not outrageous. Like I said, tomato plant for 75 cents, and then once you get towards the end of the year, they even give their plants away. So they're, really good people, people that, we like supporting. And I hope one day, if we're able to have a greenhouse ourselves, we've talked about it. I'd love to have a greenhouse of our own and be able to raise our own plants. When I think of that, though, I think of it as like in the future. I think of like when we're much older. I say much older. I'm almost 30 years old. Maybe like when we're in our late 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe we can have a greenhouse of our own. We're trying to save up, though, to actually buy a home of our, a home of our own. We own this home, but we want to farm. And so maybe one day in the future we'll be able to have a greenhouse, and I hope that people will be willing to support us. And so I'm gonna try to reap. I'm gonna try to sow, that way I can reap later. Good Lord's willing. But I love going to the greenhouse. I love being in the greenhouse. I love looking at all the plants, and Andy does too. We just love that. Like I said, we do grow plants of our own, or we have in years past. We might grow some this year. We might not make it to the greenhouses this year. We might, plant everything on our own, but I would like to support them again, like we have in years past. But I'm super excited about the garden, and I'm thinking, I'd asked last time, for those of you that are on here, leave a comment and let me know if you all would be interested in doing like like a live video of us talking about seed catalogs. We get multiple seed catalogs in, and I would like to go through those seed catalogs with you all, and just talk about the different plants that we would like to get, and maybe the different things that we would like to grow, things that we have grew, things that we would like to grow in the future, things that we liked, things that we didn't like. So if you all would be interested in that, please leave a comment, and we can maybe make that happen. I've thought about it. I've asked once before, but I don't know if I can't remember what anybody said. And so we'll just have to see if anybody's actually interested in that. If they ain't, then maybe we can just do once we purchase the seeds, which ones we've planted. We've done different varieties of green beans. We grow different varieties of green beans, and so there's green beans that I can recommend and green beans that are not my favorite. And so that's something that we could talk about. We've grown different types of tomatoes, different types of heirloom tomatoes. We primarily like to grow heirloom products. Some people think those are better. Some people think that they're not. Yeah, that would be cool. Show and tell. I love doing that when I go by almost anything. Yeah. And so, we've grew different varieties of different things. And like I said, we like to do heirloom plants and heirloom varieties of different things. So if you all are interested in heirloom plants, when I say heirloom, I mean like heirloom tomatoes, heirloom, what all have we got? Heirloom tomatoes, heirloom peppers, heirloom green beans. We've grew heirloom cucumbers. Have we grew heirloom cabbage? I feel like we grew heirloom cabbage. No, we don't soak our seeds. We're actually kind of, we do like all the things that they tell you not to do. We don't freeze our seeds. We don't put them in the refrigerator. We don't put them in the freezer. We don't probably store them the way they tell you to store them, and we still have success. So, actually on top of my refrigerator, you can't see it, but that's where I keep my seeds. We've also kept them down in the garage. I don't know. We've kept them in jars. We've kept them in plastic bags. Our biggest thing is we just keep them out of the sun. And the top of the fridge probably gets warmish, but they're in a wooden box on top of the fridge, and a lot of the seeds sit on top of that box. And so, no, we don't soak our seeds or do anything special. Like I said, we probably do unspecial things with our seeds, things that people will probably shun upon. And we still have success. So, our major issue with our plants not succeeding is animals getting them. Our biggest problem planting anything in the ground, the only time and listen guys, I'll tell you what it is. Our biggest thing that we have a hard time planting in the ground is corn. It's corn. Out at the farm, we had problems with crows getting our corn, literally digging it out of the ground and getting our corn. And then here at our house, we have a mole issue. And we had 1 year that we planted straight into the ground corn 3 different times. And still they took our corn. And so we tried cutting Andy's hair, and throwing it on the ground. We tried throwing bubble gum out there. We tried throwing castor oil, like all the natural things. Castor oil and cayenne pepper, throwing cayenne pepper flakes out there, throwing cayenne powder out there, along with his hair and castor oil and bubble gum and all kinds of stuff. And none of those things worked. And it's even so bad. They're even so bad here that we were like, okay, so they get the seeds out of the ground. So next year, yeah, scarecrow. That's probably what we need to do. Next year, this was a few years back. So we were like, well, we'll start the corn and float trays. We'll just start it in seed trays. Started it in seed trays, waited and put our corn out when it was this tall, like had the green plants that was this tall and had the seed on the bottom of it. And the daggone moles pulled our corn plant and all down through the ground and took the plant and the corn and all of it. And so I think that year we had to plant it twice. I had to do two different plantings because they were even pulling the corn down through the ground. And so when we plant corn, here at our house, it is a job trying to keep that corn to survive. A lot of times we have to overplant it, and we never have any issues, like way overplant it, and we never have any issues with like having to pull some up, because usually it gets taken. I mean, it's not birds here, it's moles. And I mean, what can you do about a mole? You can't put any poison or anything out because you don't want that in your food. Yeah, it happened to me, so I had to put a raised bed with a screen all the bottoms. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know what you mean. Are stupid. I don't know what you mean. You'll have to elaborate. But yeah, I don't know about the corn. We can grow good corn if we can keep it in the ground. So that's our biggest issue. But I think it would be super fun to do a live. And even if we didn't do a live, I definitely I want to do a video on it and show y'all. Oh, we got one of those. Oh gosh, I don't like, people are so rude. What? If you're gonna come on the live and be mean, then just don't. Sorry, guys. Nobody thinks you're funny. And your comments are automatically being removed and held, and so they're not popping up, and you're being hateful. So, God bless you and have a good day, and go bother somebody else. But I hope that we can have a good garden this year. I hope everybody's gardens are do well this year. I like watching what other people are planting, and so I find it very interesting to see what other people are planting and how they're growing it. I know that raised beds are popular, and if you watched our videos from last summer and spring, we did put raised beds in. They're primarily for berries. There was one raised bed that we did raise some lettuces and onions, and that we called it like the Yeah, whoever that was, their comments were so rude that the monitor, the YouTube monitor, was blocking them. And so I don't think they're here anymore. But we had like what we called the salad raised bed, where we grew, salady things. Our cabbage didn't do very well last year, mostly because the lack of rain and the drought that we were in. A lot of people had drought issues. I see somebody wants a lot of attention this evening. A lot of people had drought issues. Let me see, buddy. Since you want so much attention, me. All right, guys, he's gone. Okay. Not sure if you're going to do anything this year because you are trying to sell, but I hope the next place we can have a big garden to justify a tractor. I like the way you think, Eric. I like the way you think. Are you talking to that fella that thought he was funny, Daisy Q? Oh, man. I don't know what they're... Do you hear that vehicle? I think they're scraping the roads, but there's nothing to scrape. Yeah, he's blocked. He thought he was funny, but he wasn't. I don't find that cute. Yeah, Eric, I hope that you have a garden so large that you can justify a tractor as well, because I am all about justifying tractors. And you had commented on that farm all video where my father-in-law's brother come and tilled our garden with the tractor. We would love to be able to have a farm tractor, a little small farm tractor. It doesn't need to. It needs to be about that size that tractor was that guy come. His name's Billy. Tilled up the garden with. We love, of course, old tractors. I love tractors, especially old ones. Just having them on the farm, but it's just one of them. It's one of them things. You got to be able to afford them. And where we're trying to buy an actual farm of our own, we have to. Which we've actually looked. I mean, I say we got to be able to afford them. But if we bought one, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, are wanting one as well. So we would probably, split the cost of it. But speaking of that, there's a tractor going down the road right now. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear it or not. You all probably can't hear it. But there's a tractor with lights going down the road. Well, guys, we've been on for 100. I just said 100. An hour and 33 minutes. Yeah, they seem to multiply. Especially when you're a farmer, because you get one and it's for this. Well, then you need another one. It's kind of like bait when you're buying fishing bait. You got to have one for this and one for that and one for this and one for that. And this one does this one, or this one does this and this one does that. And, you got to have the whole shebang. But, guys, I think we're going to call it a night, especially since that guy popped up there. I think that we're going to start attracting unwanted attention this late in the evening. What time is it? Yeah. People are getting bored. They ain't got nothing better to do in their life. But I love y'all with the love of the Lord. God bless y'all, and I hope that you all will come back on the next one. I love having these lives. Like we had talked about last weekend, this was supposed to be our Sunday live, but it's on a Monday night. We might do a midweek live. Thank you. I appreciate it. 30 is coming up quick on me, and to be honest with you, 30 is a little bit harder than what I thought it was going to be when it's coming. I'm not quite 30 yet, so I don't know how bad it's going to be when it hits me. Over 25 was rough, and now I'm getting I'm getting over 25. I am over 25, and so it's coming up quick. I don't know why, but 30 is just hard for women. But I appreciate all the birthday wishes, and I love y'all. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. God bless you all. Thanks so much for hanging out. I love all the conversations and the support. And guys, thank you so much for just being here. I'm so excited that we've met our 1 year mark. I'm so excited that we've hit over 1,000 subscribers. It's wonderful. And it's all because of you all. You all are a wonderful community. You are so supportive to me, and I know that you all are supportive to other people. And I love that we can be a community that's safe. Oh boy, you're younger than me. Oh no, you're older than me. 32. It ain't so bad. Oh gosh. 30 seems so big to me. I don't know why, and I don't know why. I don't know why 32 seems so big, but it does. It seems, or 30 seems so big. It does. It seems so large. So old. People probably get mad at me. I don't think when other people tell me they're 30, they don't seem old. But for whatever reason, to me, when I become 30, it seems old. I don't know why. Like, if you told me you were 32, and I think, oh, well, you still got your life ahead of you. You're still super young. But it's almost like in my mind, I think, well, once I hit 30, my life is over. I don't know why I feel that way. You're not there yet, so enjoy. Yeah, I'm not there yet, so I'm just gonna, if the Lord sees fit for me to make it to 30, I think I'll be okay. I cried when I turned 25. So, I don't know. 25 was hard. But 25 was hard because I was thinking I'm almost 30. Maybe once I get 30, I'll be like, oh, this is, easy. But anyways, guys, I don't mean to make other people feel old. If you're older than 30, if you're 30, you're not old. It's just me. It's me. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. But guys, I appreciate it, and thank you so much, like I said, for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much for being the community that you are, the wonderful people that you are, the supportive people that you are. It's seen. We see you. Everybody sees it. People see when we support and uplift others. But bye, y'all. Thank you so much for showing up and hanging out. We love y'all with the love of the Lord. We'll see you later.